The second game of the Big East semifinals is between UConn and Creighton, two of the top teams in this conference. Um, really a battle that we got on our hands. Get your popcorn ready, cause the Garden gonna be rocking for this one. But I'm Bryce. That's Tariq. Hoodie and the headband. We here on Sleepers Media. Tariq, what are your thoughts heading into this matchup?
Um, just a very even matchup in terms of talent,
Hmm.
and in terms of styles. We got two teams that, while are good defensively, are known for their offense and known for their offensive sets. Play through their guard. For Creighton, it's more so play through Ashworth and Kalkbrenner, and then also Jermiah Neal.
Yeah,
For UConn, it's playing through Caravan, McNeely, so LaBall, Diarra, and then finding things inside of that. Um, the first time they played, Creighton won on the road. Both teams won the road matchup. So Creighton won on the road. Jermaine Neal had 24 points in that game. Ryan Kalkbrenner had 16 and 10. Stephen Ashworth had 12 points. Isaac Trout had 11 off the bench. And then that was a game that McNeely was not there for. Caravan only had 8 points on 3 of 12 shooting. Jalen Stewart had 14 points. Solo Ball had 15. Hassan Diarra had 15. Then you look at the second game, UConn got that at Creighton, and that was the game that Liam McNeely dropped 38, had 10 rebounds, was 12 of 22 from the floor, 5 of 10 from three. Caravan had just 10 points. So in the two games, Caravan is averaging 9 points against Creighton. So I'm curious to see how that looks for him. Solo Ball had 11 on 4 of 15 shooting. And in that game, Hassan Diarra came off the bench and was dealing with an injury at that time, so he didn't really play. Um, for Creighton, Ryan Kalkbrenner had 13. So I think he had 16 to 13. So that'd be about 14 and a half in averages against them. Jermaine Neal had 12 instead of the 26. Stephen Ashworth had 12, or sorry, he had 13. Um, so his averages are about like 11, 11, 10, maybe something like that. Um, so I'm looking at the stars. I'm looking at Caravan. I'm looking at McNeely, and then I'm looking at Ashworth, and I'm looking at Ryan Kalkbrenner. Ryan Kalkbrenner was phenomenal today.
oh my goodness,
Um,
yes,
they don't they lose by 15 if he doesn't play the way he plays
yeah.
because no one else stepped up at any point. Everyone else looked indecisive. I'm a huge fan of Jermaine Neal's game. He was not very good today against DePaul. He got to the Big East logo a few times and just would not shoot the ball, was very hesitant. Stephen Ashford was making some decisions that we are not accustomed to seeing him make. At one point, it was maybe like 7 or 8 minutes left in the fourth or in the second half. Forgot they don't do, they do two halves. He threw the ball over somebody's head and went straight out of bounds, and it was just like, who could he have possibly thrown it to?
Yeah,
Um,
he fouled out in that game
but
too.
Yeah, he also fouled out in
Yeah, in
overtime.
the first
Took them
overtime.
two overtimes to beat DePaul. So
Yes.
that's not a good sign for a team that's going to have to play a UConn team that just had a really good win and a really good outing against Villanova. So Creighton is going to have to play their best game of the season tomorrow to win this game, and then they're going to have to follow that up Friday night if they want to win. Or sorry, was it
Saturday night is the
Saturday?
final.
They'd
Yeah,
have to follow that up Saturday night against Marquette or St. John's. Um,
yeah.
UConn has done a good job this season of slowing down Ryan Kalkbrenner, at least to where he's not dropping 30 or 25 points a game. And then, Creighton has done a good job of slowing down Caravan. So I'm looking at those matchups to see who wins those matchups, and I think that's the telltale sign of who will win this game.
Yeah. So I feel a little opposite than you feel. I mean, the DePaul game, yeah, they looked sluggish in the beginning. They looked slow. Like they did not look good at all to start that game. Um, believe they got off to. I mean, it was just a low scoring first half from Creighton. Um, and it
They
wasn't
were down 14 at one point.
down 15.
15, 15,
Yeah,
15.
they were
Yeah.
down 15. They came back down 15. But yeah, no, just that just unrecognizable that first half, but in the second half they got together. And based on that comeback, I feel like this team knows or this team has the urgency. Um, so that does give me a little bit of confidence heading into this matchup. But at the same time, like I feel like UConn is just a step ahead of them at the moment. They took care of business against I think they just played um
Villanova.
Villanova. My goodness. They just took care of business against Villanova in a game where they held Eric Dixon to 8 points. So I'm definitely interested in seeing how they try to limit Kalkbrenner, um, seeing how Stephen Ashworth responds in this game. And yeah, like you said, it's really gonna come down to the guard play, in my opinion. Um, I think both teams do have good guard duos, and I feel like guards lead you in March. Um, I mean, you got those outliers where you do have a big that can lead you through the way, but really you need a good guard that can lead you through a lot of these matchups, a lot of the madness. Someone who's posed and can control the pace of games. Um, So it'll be interesting to see the guard matchup in this game. Um, Looking at the line, Connecticut, goodness gracious, why I said Connecticut, UConn is two and a half point favorites in this one. I feel that's kind of valid. I feel like it's gonna be a close game. I feel like it'll be decided within 5 points, maybe eight.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Um, I just think at this time of the season, you have to bet on the teams that have shown you that they're capable of doing this. Um, and no one has shown us that they're more capable of winning games like this than UConn.
Yeah,
So I would be inclined to choose UConn to win this game, but I do think it's going to be a really close game. I do think Creighton has a really solid chance of winning this game, but they cannot play anything like they played today.
no,
It's a good thing that they were able to come back and win, but the fact that they had to do that against the DePaul
yeah,
team, and it took them a really long time to come back. Like
yeah,
it was like they were down about 7 points with about 2 minutes left, and I'm looking like,
yeah.
no way they about to do this. And then
Came
uh
down to a couple big shots down late.
Stephen
They're sitting there in
Ashworth hit a big
overtime.
three.
Yup.
And before that, who was it? Somebody else hit a three right before that.
What was it called?
Uh, Ryan Kalkbrenner hit two big threes, but it was before that was before um it was really a really close game. Uh Ryan Kalkbrenner hit two with about I feel like 7 or 8 minutes left, and that's what really turned the game because it was back-to-back threes. Um, let's see, you had Ryan Carpenter, Nate Dunn, Isaiah Rivera, Troy D'Amico.
But that block at the end was crazy too. Steven
Yeah,
Alsher made a three to tie it up.
yeah. They Zugic, sorry, it was Zugic.
Yeah,
So
Zugic made the
they
three
were
late.
down nine.
Yeah.
They were down nine with actually they were down 11
Hmm.
with 2 minutes left. Zugic made a three, made two threes. He made back-to-back threes, and Ryan Carpenter got a layup, and then Stephen Ashworth hit the deep three to tie it up. So um, you needed to play perfect in that last 2 minutes, and they were able to do that. You can't rely on playing a perfect 2 minutes against UConn.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not going to play a perfect 40 minutes, but you need to play at the highest level that you could possibly play for 40 minutes in order to win this game and move on to the championship game.
Yeah, I agree. All right, prediction time. I got UConn in this one. UConn advances and will be playing for their second consecutive Big East championship game or championship.
Yeah, UConn has been a lot more consistent over the past couple of weeks. Um, the game today was for Creighton is pretty alarming to me, honestly. And I've been a good I've felt pretty good about Creighton going into this point, up to this point. But yeah, I'm gonna have to ride with UConn in this one, just because I'm gonna take the experience. I'm gonna ride with the experience and not go out on the limb
Yeah.
because that typically gets you left out to dry.
Yeah. And not like Dan Hurley is the underdog. I'll say that, but depending on who they play in that final, my stance might be a little different. Anyways, we'll be here to break it down all the games in the Big East tournament here on the Sleepers Media YouTube channel.